Tactical, practical jokes here. You motherfucking
insert insult here.
It's been years since I've been to this place. 13 years and I find myself at the place that I grew up in. Nostalgia fills my being as the memories pour back into my mind. It's how I remember it, yet aged. As I looked at the house, I began to think of how much time had passed me. Time I would never get back. I had made the decision that if I was going to face the things that came before me, I was going to have to go back to my roots.
Hey! Get off my yard!
God! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Oh shit!
Marshall Mathers LP2 is great, and fuck it, I'm just gonna go out and say that this is just as good as his old stuff. If this is gay-ass music, then consider me a homosexual. If you don't already, that is. Going back to our Star Wars analogy, if the original trilogy was the original trilogy, Encore was The Phantom Menace, Relapse was Revenge of the Sith, and Recovery was The Force Awakens, then the Marshall Mathers LP2 is, Muppets Treasure Island. I don't know, fuck Star Wars. It's a good fucking album, that's what it is, and I'm gonna review it. Welcome back to my Slim Shady Retrospective, and today we'll be looking at the Marshall Mathers LP2. Okay, so y'all know how we do this by now. I mean, we're 9 episodes in, Jesus. The front cover is actually pretty dope. It's a throwback to the cover of the Marshall Mathers LP. The twist is that while in the Marshall Mathers LP, Marshall showed himself in front of the house that he used to live in, whereas in the Marshall Mathers LP2 cover, we see the same house except condemned and abandoned. It shows age and wear, and it fits perfectly with the themes of the album. The one complaint I have is that I don't really like the new M&M logo. It looks like it's compressed, and the more I look at it, the worse it gets. Still though, overall this cover is solid. The back cover and the CD both complement its cover pretty well, but doesn't really add too much to it. Pop in the CD and we start off with the first track, Bad Guy, and all I can say is, damn. Like, shit, this is how you start a fucking album. I absolutely love this song. Much like his previous album, this is a heavily themed album, and this song represents those themes perfectly. M is older now, and his past is catching up to him, and this album spent its tracklist observing things about his past, breaking down his character and its flaws and successes, and tying up loose ends in his life, with all of the songs pointing towards the end of his career. Bad Guy introduces all of this in a 7-minute beast of a song that switches direction multiple times. It starts out with a cleverly disguised twist in the same vein as 25 to Life. We hear Marshall rapping about wanting revenge on somebody and breaking into their house. Originally, we're left to believe that it's him rapping about killing Kim, but the twist is that the person rapping is actually Stan's younger brother, Matthew, and the person being haunted is M. The first 2 verses are nothing special lyrically, although the haunting beat and soft-spoken hook really do help. Really what I like about these first 2 verses is the way it disguises its twist. Much like 25 to Life, several lines can be interpreted multiple ways.
You left our family in shambles. You expect me to just get over him? Pretend he never existed? Maybe gone, but he's not forgotten. And don't think cause he's been out the picture so long that I've stopped the plotting and still ain't coming to get you.
An especially nice touch is this line, and its subtle reference to the previous album.
You ruined mine, but you seem to be doing fine. Well, I've never recovered.
However, the song really gets good on the 3rd verse when the plot twist is revealed and the song plays out like the 3rd verse of Stan.
It's just me, you, and the music now, Slim. I hope you hear it. We're in a car right now. Wait, here comes my favorite lyric. I'm the bad guy who makes fun of people that die. And hey, here's the sequel to my Mathers LP just to try to get people to buy.
The way M criticizes himself through Matthew is great. And eventually, much like Stan, Matthew runs his car off of the highway. That's when the song goes from being really good to being one of my favorites, if not my #1. As he drowns in the water, Matthew's voice becomes distorted and he spits out one more verse. He reveals himself not as Matthew, but as the insecurities and issues that M is facing in his life, or how I interpret it, Slim Shady. This verse is incredible. Backed by an epic and powerful orchestral beat, he breaks down M and his career, down to its every weakness, angrily spitting out each word in a flow that has to be one of the sickest we've seen from M in a long time. The result is incredible.
I represent everything you take for granted, cause Marshall Mathers, the rapper's facade is half a facade, and Matthew and Stan's just symbolic of you not knowing what you have till it's gone. Cause after all the glitz and the glam, no more fans that are calling your name. Cameras are off, sad but it happens to all of them.
To end the song, M offers us one final element. After Matthew's verse, we hear Marshall say his last lines as the song sets the album up and prepares us for M's final chapter.
So, one last time, I'm back. For it fades in the black and it's all over. Behold the final chapter in the saga, trying to recapture that lightning trapped in a bottle twice. The magic that started it all. Tragic portrait of an artist tortured, trapped in his own drawings, tapping the thoughts blacker and darker than anything imaginable. He goes a wild stab in the dark. As I pick up the last.
Next is the skit Parking Lot, and I like it, but I would personally place it differently in the album. Much like Recovery, there are a few changes that I make to the order of the track list, but I'll go into that at the conclusion of the video. This Parking Lot skit starts off with the end of the skit used in the song Criminal. The original skit ended comedically with M shooting the bank teller and then shouting "thank you" like a gentleman. This skit shows that and then shows M running from police, getting cornered, and shooting himself in the head. It's a nice callback, a decent skit, and it even fits in with the theme of Marshall's past catching up to him. Also, it works as a lead up to the next song because of the reference to Criminal in the next song.
I still am a criminal, 10-year-old degenerate grabbing on my genitals. The last Mathers LP done went diamond. This time I'm predicting that this one will go emerald.
Speaking of which, the next song is Rhyme or Reason, and it's great. Not only do I adore his unusual flow in the song, but Rhyme or Reason also has, in my opinion, probably the best use of sampling in rap. The song sampled is Time of the Season by the Zombies. Much like Stan or Sing for the Moment, the beat is a modified version of the instrumentals of the sampled songs, but unlike those songs, M takes his use of the sampling to a more creative direction.
Marshall. I don't know him, but I wonder.
Rich like me, hesitate anytime. Show you what you need to live.
No!
This song is an overview of M and his career, while also giving us some ranting about his deadbeat dad, and even giving us the return of Slim Shady in a verse that, while it isn't perfect, I believe works well. Like I said before, his flow is a little weird, but it grew on me, and now I love it.
The king of nonsense and controversy is on beat killing spree, your honor. I must plead guilty cause I sparked a revolution. Rebel without a cause who caused the evolution of rap to take it to the next level, boost it, but several rebuked it and whoever produced it. Hip-hop is the devil's music.
Overall, this song is great, and will have you singing Who's Your Daddy until they kick you out of the orphanage and or kink dungeon. The next song is so much better, and it's so much worse than the other songs on this album. But no, I'm actually not kidding. This song isn't great. That being said, I do kinda like it. It's just kind of lacking a bit quality-wise. This is a Bitches Ain't Shit song that isn't as ungodly whining as Puke, but isn't as intelligent and good as Love You More. The song is fun, but I believe that the overly angry verses and heavy beat kinda clash with the tone. That being said, I do like the hook, and each line that throws us into the hook is good as well.
I hope you hear this song and go into a cardiac arrest, have a heart attack and just drop dead, and I'ma throw a fucking party after this, cause yes, my life be so much better if you just drop dead. I hate you.
There are a lot of jokes in parts of this song. Some of them are decent.
I got 99 problems and a bitch ain't one. She's all 99 of them. I need a machine gun.
And some of them are this.
Cause a woman broke my heart. I say heart cause she rips it into parts and threw it in the garbage.
Like I said, I like it, but it's definitely one of the weaker on the album. Oh wait! Never mind, he put a Scott Pilgrim reference in here. This is my favorite song on the album now.
But I'll never say the L word again. I love lesbian!
Break out the L word.
Lesbian?
The other L word.
Lesbians?
The next song is Survival, and this song sounds like it's straight out of Recovery. It's a motivational boasting song or hype track that I believe works pretty damn well. I mean, none of these hype tracks are as good as Till I Collapse, but few songs are, and for what it is, it does a good job. I especially love the opening line.
Wasn't ready to be no millionaire. I was ill prepared. I was prepared to be ill though. The skill was there. In the beginning, it wasn't about the ends. It was about busting raps and standing for something. Fucking acronym.
Probably my biggest complaint about the song is that there's this electric sound that sounds like peeling tape. At first I thought there was something wrong with my CD, but apparently it's just part of the song. It doesn't sound too bad on headphones, but on my speakers in my car, it's fucking annoying as shit. Also, the hook is pretty generic, and a lot of people had issues with his use of the word
what?
Personally though, there's nothing that really bugs me in this song, and if you're in the mood, it can give you a lot of hype, so overall I'd say pretty good. Next track. Next we got the song Legacy, and I really like it. The song shows Marshall as a child and the very beginning of his life as a rapper. We've heard a lot of stories about how he started, but I feel like this one is unique in just how well it helps us get into Marshall's head. The first verse and a half are somber and show us a picture of a sad kid with no direction. Halfway through verse 2 we get this line, and then the song turns around.
Why bother even trying to put up a fight's nonsense? But I think a light bulb just lit up in my conscience. What about them rhymes I've been jotting that kinda giving me confidence?
From there we get a confident Marshall emerging, rekindled with a purpose and a passion. In the first 2 verses we get a static overlay over Marshall's voice, but in the third verse, when he's older, it's crisp and clear. He starts the first 2 verses of the song with this line.
I used to be the type of kid that would always think the sky is falling. Why am I so differently wired? Am I a Martian?
And then on the third verse we get this twist on it.
I used to be the type of kid that would always think the sky is falling. Now I think the fact that I'm differently wired's awesome.
The beat includes a nice use of piano, accompanied by a constant rainfall that's very smoothing and fits the tone of the song perfectly. Polina's vocals for the hook are beautiful and amplify the song to an even better level. As far as problems with the song, I personally don't have too many. A lot of people hated this line right here.
The day you beat me, things will fly out my ass in a flying saucer full of Italian sausage.
Personally though, it didn't bug me too much. It's corny, but in the context of the song, it's a young Marshall emerging into rapping with a fuck you attitude. So it kind of works for me, even if only barely. Also, if you listen to some of his earlier works, he included a lot of wordplay and puns like that, so it really does fit in the song. I love this song, and I'd say that it's one of M's that qualifies under the label inspirational. In fact, actually, this song even kind of inspired me a little bit never mind, it's not important. Next track. The next song is Asshole featuring Skylar Grey, and boy, I'd like to be featured in Skylar Grey's Asshole. Yeah! Sorry. This song is, as young people say, lit. On the very get-go, it smacks us in the face with a fast aggressive flow and a fast aggressive beat that both build up as the song goes on until it explodes into the hook. You remember Crazy on You from Encore? Yeah, this is what that song should have done. Asshole follows Marshall as he addresses the bad guy persona of Slim Shady he adopted early on in his career, and how he was basically the asshole of the rap industry, but how it also ultimately helped him. This is all set up by the first line of the song.
Came to the world at a time when it was in need of a villain, an asshole. That role think I succeeded fulfilling.
The song is great, with a lot of great jokes, observations, and callbacks. He includes a callback to his "thanks for the support, asshole" line from My Name Is. He throws a shot at ICP and the whole magnets thing, and gives us a reference to Lose Yourself in the best line in the entire song.
My soul's escaping through this asshole that is gaping.
Overall, I'd say the song is definitely another home run. Next! The next song is Berserk, and I actually like it. A lot of people didn't, and I kind of understand why. Truth be told, I do have a little bit of a bias with this song. You see, this is actually one of the first Eminem songs I ever heard. That's right, I didn't even know anything about Eminem when this album first came out. I heard this and Monster on the radio, but I remember liking this one a lot. This song, along with The Real Slim Shady, Lose Yourself, and Without Me, were the first songs of his I ever really listened to. That being said, I don't believe that nostalgia is its only merit, and I don't think it's as bad as a lot of the fans say. There's an infectious energy to the song, and I love how heavy it is. The first thing that stuck to me when I first heard it was the hook. It's a super catchy earworm that had me turning up the radio whenever it came on. The beat has this really heavy rock vibe that's straight from Rick Riordan, who's responsible for the Beastie Boys, hence the similarity to the sound. The verses in the song are a little too spastic, but it has energy, and the actual lyrics aren't just substanceless, and some of the lines are actually really good.
It's like I did with a Dixon, I'm about to like a magician, critics I turn up, got them still on the fence, whether the
That being said, much like Square Dance, he does go full retard in the middle of the song. Another thing I'll say is in response to the rap critics' review of this song.
Grow your beard out. What? Grow your beard out. Grow your beard? What, was that intended for ZZ Top over here? Because I don't know who else that instruction would be for. I mean, I've heard party songs tell people to do some pretty outlandish things, but I gotta say, grow a beard is quite possibly the most inactive thing I've ever heard commanded of an audience.
Now, true, growing a beard may not be intense or manly, but growing one on command is the epitome of manliness.
I have 3 Y chromosomes, 6 Adam's apples, pecs on my abs, and fists for nipples!
I'll also say that while I like this song, I don't think it should have been the leading single for the album. A much better choice would have been Rap God. Speaking of which, Rap God is probably the most well-known song Emma's done since the Eminem Show, and I have to say it's pretty fucking good. A lot of people will dismiss it because it became so popular, but I believe that for the most part it deserves it. It's another 7-minute monster of a song, but I believe that it works. The rap critic and Seventy Damn Tano both said that this song would have benefited from being cut down, but personally, I like the length. Granted, it leads to some sections of the song being better than others, but to me the point of the song is that it keeps going and going until that final mic drop. I honestly don't think that this song would have been nearly as effective if it was cut down. Not only that, but to me, part of the charm of the song is digging through the content upon content. When I first nabbed the song, I would listen to it a lot, and for like a month, every time I listened to it, I would find something new that I never caught before. This song is filled with a bunch of great lines.
To meet Run DMC and induct him into the motherfucking Rockin' Roll Hall of Fame. Even though I walk in the church in person, a ball of flames. Only Hall of Fame I'll be inducted in is the Alcohol of Fame on the wall of shame.
The beat is simple, but it works, and it's just enough to keep the attention on the crazy flow and lyrics. The hook is a little weak, but it's hardly in the song, so who cares? Definitely the most famous part of the song is the part where he raps 97 words in 15 seconds.
You assuming I'm a human, what I gotta do to get it through to you? I'm superhuman, innovative, and I made a rubber so that anything you say is shaking off of me and it'll glue to you and devastating more than ever, demonstrating how to give a motherfucking audience a feeling like it's never.
Honestly, this song and especially that section were legitimately a cool accomplishment, and it's no wonder that people flocked to it when the single was released. Also, I know I don't talk too much about the music videos, but this one is phenomenal. The design and editing really come together and add on to the song and improve upon it. So in conclusion, this shit is lit, fam! The next song is Brainless, and I really like it. Straight up, this song has my favorite beat on the album. The piano is great, and there's something about the way the actual drums sound that I just can't get enough of. This song is a little scattered as far as focus goes, but you can still see the progression of it. It's like it tells the story of Legacy through the tone of Asshole. His flow is great, he constantly jumps from being calm to being aggressive, but he does it in a way that really works. I especially love the opening to this song.
Marshall Mathers, Eminem, the rapper Eminem.
Who can say for sure? Perhaps a frontal lobotomy would be the answer. If science could operate on this distorted brain and put it to good use, society would reap a great benefit.
The hook is catchy as fuck, and there are a lot of great lines and jokes throughout the song. This one, of course, being my favorite.
Smoking me is tactical, practical jokes here, you motherfucking
Insert insult here.
Overall, this song isn't very impressive conceptually or through technique, but it's just fun and catchy. Next track. The next song is Stronger Than I Was, and the next song is Stronger Than I Was, and what the goddamn fuck. This song is ass. It's like embarrassingly bad. From what I can tell, it's a song about Kim sung from her perspective, which is a decent idea and fits the themes of the album perfectly, but the song just falls flat on its fucking face. M just tries to sing throughout the song, and recurring joke.
I can't sing.
It doesn't even start out bad though. Marshall starts singing softly and it almost works, but then he starts singing intensely and it all goes to shit fast. I feel like the song would have been better if he had a female guest singer for the majority of the song. Yeah, that would make it less of his song, but it would still help him get the message across better, and it would still be his writing. Much like Haley's song, he has a section where he raps, but he fucks that up too. His flow is whack and what he's saying is just boring. In fact, it hurts saying Haley's song and this one in the same sentence, because Haley's song was heartwarming, passionate, and showed a definitive use of skill and talent. This is just ham-fisted, poorly executed, and god-awful. Luckily for us though, I would dare to say that it's so bad that it's good. That's right, this song is hilarious. It isn't much at first, but towards the end it becomes fucking gold. It's supposed to be this sentimental song, but then out of nowhere he just starts adding these uhs to it, and it's just fucking hilarious.
And I thank you, you made me a better person than I was. But I hate you, you drained me. I gave you all, you gave me none. If you blame me, you're crazy.
song is Monster, featuring that girl M threatened to pee on in Relapse, and I actually kinda like the song. When it first came out, I hated it. Even when I got the album, I couldn't get into it, but it slowly started growing on me, and now I love it. Rihanna's hook is probably the weakest part of the song, but even that grew on me. I love the acoustic beat, and the flow is kind of like Rhyme or Reason, where it's weird, but I really like it. Especially when he starts getting aggressive in that last verse. There's something about the flow that just really works. That being said, there is one big problem that might seem really small, but it really does bring the song down for me. Why the fuck does he randomly yodel in the second verse? It's distracting and it has nothing to do with the lyrics before it. I mean, shit, what is he, Weird Al?
Cause I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating, so won't the real Slim Shady please, please, please stand up? Shut up!
You know what I'm saying?
The next song is So Far, and it's easily the funniest song on the album. It samples Life's Been Good by Joe Walsh, and it basically just shows Marshall's life in the most honest, non-important way. The whole song is just him telling a bunch of funny short stories about being a superstar just trying to live a normal life, and then closing by saying that overall life's been good for him so far. This song puts me in a genuine good mood, even though it's almost like a fun, lighthearted version of The Way I Am. There are a ton of great jokes and stories in the song, and some of them include some great callbacks to his previous songs.
I get so mad I could yell the other day. Someone got all elaborate and stuck a head from a fucking dead cat in my mailbox. Went to Burger King, they spit on my onion rings. I think my karma's catching up with me.
Like I said, this song is fun, well sampled, and genuinely honest and hilarious. Definitely worth checking out. Next track. The next song is The Love Game, featuring that guy who did the credits for Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I fucking love the shit out of this song. The song samples The Game of Love by Wayne Fontana into a rap song, and it works perfectly. M starts out the song with a hilarious story about a girl he hooked up with.
You don't understand. I don't do this for anyone ever. Yeah, that ain't what they all say. I'll say you can suck a softball through a straw.
And then Kendrick tops it with his own story about a girl that's even funnier than M's.
I told that bitch.
I'm a sucker for love, you a sucker for dick. Sucking dick in your mama tub. Then your granny walked in, told the stupid nigga to duck under the water. He drowned like an abortion. They booked you for manslaughter. You beat the case and I caught you.
And then M comes back with the final story topping Kendrick's, where M comes across a girl who he finds out is just as prone to psychotic outbursts as he is. It's absolutely hilarious, and then we get the best part of the song where M spits out some bars that perfectly explain my own love life.
She's laying next to me in bed, directly aiming again at my head. Woke up again and jumped up like fuck it, I've had it. I'm checking into rehab, I confess I'm a static addict. I guess that's why I'm so clingy. Every girl I've ever had either says I got too much baggage or I'm too fucking dramatic. Man, what the fuck is the matter? I'm just a fucking romantic. I fucking love you, fucking bitch.
These are my favorite bars on the entire album, and every time I put on the song and it gets to that part, I replay it 4 or 5 times. People had been waiting for Kendrick and M to collab, and I have to say that this was everything it needed to be and more. Next track. The next song is Headlights, or how I like to call it, Sun Spaghetti, and this song is beautiful. I say that this song is the most shocking thing M has done since the Marshall Mathers LP. After all the eating fetuses and Relapse, the most shocking thing that M's done in his recent career is apologize to his mother. And I have to say that this apology is as sincere as it gets. The song is sad, sweet, and I'm sure that there are plenty of people who can relate to it full-heartedly. When M goes hard in this song, it's very powerful.
I'm way too old to cry, this shit is painful though, but Ma, I forgive you. So does Nathan, yo. All you did, all you said, you did your best to raise us both.
On top of that, we get a hook by Nate Roos, and it's incredible. I've never heard of this guy before, but he's an amazing singer. Also, kudos for having the same name as Marshall's brother. Remember when I said that part of the album's themes are tying up loose ends? Well, this is by far the best example of that. The apology is sincere, and it even ends with a beautiful little bit with M accepting his own death. I don't know if there's been anything public, but I can guarantee you that when Debbie Mathers heard this song, she bawled her eyes out. Definitely beautiful. The last song on the album is Evil Twin, and I have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, the majority of the song is really good. He raps about his place in the industry, his origins, and of course his evil twin, Slim Shady. M's verses are great, with this line in particular being one of the most badass things he's ever said.
Top 5, bitch, I'm top 4, and that includes Biggie and Popcorn. And I got an evil twin, so who the fuck you think that 3rd and that 4th spot's for?
Then he hands the mic to Slim by using one of the best transitions I've ever seen in a rap song.
And crazy as I am, I'm much tamer than him, and I'm nuts. Then again, who the fuck wants to play Eminem? No one's insane than Slim. Look at that evil pretty. tune. Please come in. What was your name again? Hi, faggot.
Thing is though, after that, the whole song kind of falls apart. Slim's verse isn't terrible, but you have to keep in mind that this is the final verse of M's final album, the final chapter. We've seen Slim twice before in this album, but now he's getting the spotlight for the first time in a long time. This isn't supposed to be the crap Shady 2.0. This is Slim Shady, and he's on the last verse of a so far all-star album. What I'm getting at is that out of everything in this album, this is the thing that needed to be amazing, and honestly, it's just not. His final line is a good ending to the album, but before that, his verse is just weak when it couldn't afford to be. That being said, while it was disappointing, it doesn't ruin the entire song, much less the album. I just wish we could have gotten something similar to the final verse of Bad Guy. Still though, criticisms aside, I can't complain about that final line.
First introduced y'all to my skittish side and blamed it on him when they tried to criticize. Cause we are the same, bitch.
So that was the Marshall Mathers LP2, and I gotta say that this album is fucking great. I'd even say it's one of his best. I'd say that the best song on the album would have to be Shiver Me Timbers. That song was fucking dope as hell.
Shiver my timbers, shiver my sails, dead men tell no tales.
But no, my favorite song on the album is Bad Guy, followed up by Rap God, Rhyme or Reason, and The Love Game. Worst song, surprise to no one, is Stronger Than I Was. I'd also say that both So Much Better and the final verse of Evil Twin were weak. Overall though, despite that, this album is exactly what I think M needed. An epic, themed, technique-pushing, heartfelt, and fun album as the final chapter to his rap career. Unlike the first three albums, the weaknesses here are a lot more apparent in this album, but I would argue that at its best, this album's strength not only makes up for that, but gives his original albums a run for their money. Other than the fact that Stronger Than I Was should have been cut, and the final verse of Evil Twin should have been fixed, I don't have too many problems with this album, and the songs like Bad Guy, Legacy, and Headlights left genuine impacts on M's entire career. I would change around the track list a little, but it doesn't need it nearly as much as Recovery. Still though, for the sake of improvement, and for those of you who want it, here is the Marshall Mathers LP2 FP mix. Okay, so we'd start out with Bad Guy because it's the perfect introduction to this album, and no need to expound on that. For the second track, I'd put Legacy. Bad Guy ended with Marshall dying, so to me it only makes sense that the next song should start at the very beginning. Legacy also works as a good transition between the more serious Bad Guy and the more fun songs that follow it. After a song about M's legacy, we would follow up with the song Asshole that makes the statement that M's legacy is basically that he's an asshole. Next we'd follow that up with the song So Much Better, in which M is basically just a dick for the whole song. The next song would be Berserk. So Much Better ends with a callback to the Marshall Mathers LP.
I'm just playing, bitch. You know I love you.
And then Berserk begins with this line.
Let's bring it back to that vintage Slim bitch!
So the transition works pretty well. There's no direct reason for this transition, but next I would put Rap God. Maybe it's just because it works so well in the order of the actual CD. After Rap God, we would follow it up with another hype track, Survival. Since this is M's final chapter, it's granted that he would want to go off with a bang, and putting Berserk, Rap God, and Survival back to back really shows this off. Next we would have Brainless, because I believe like the jazzy style of Brainless works really well after the rock theme of Survival. Then, after another track about his origins through Brainless, we'd follow up with The Monster, which shows how he currently feels about his career and what he wanted out of it. Next, we'd have The Love Game. I don't really have a transition for it, but I didn't really know where else to put it on the album where it wouldn't be intrusive, so I put it here. After Love Game, putting his string of love life songs to an end, we'd have So Far, which takes a detailed look at his current life and even shows brief signs of contentment. We'd follow up that theme with the more serious Headlights, where he buries probably the biggest hatchet of his career. After he has a song about his mom through Headlights, it's only fitting to follow up with Rhyme or Reason, which addresses his dad and even gives us another glimpse at Slim Shady. Now that most of M's loose ends are tied up, the CD would take us full on back to the subject of Slim Shady through the parking lot skit. And then after that, it would lead us into our final track, Evil Twin. I cut out Stronger Than I Was because it's fucking trash! And yeah, that's my mix of the album. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Let me know what you think. Overall, Marshall went above and beyond everyone's expectations with this final chapter. It's definitely the best M has been in a long time, but I would even put it as one of his best albums, period. Other than Stronger Than I Was, the songs in this LP are strong, and the underlying theme and personality mixed in with the unique and well-constructed technique lead to a stellar album that brings Marshall's saga to a satisfying end. Still though, for those of you familiar with this retrospective, you know that we're not quite done yet. So far I've covered all of M's main studio albums and his other music for the first half of his career, but we still have one last collection of music to take a look at. And so on the next episode of the Slim Shady Retrospective, we'll be taking a look at M's other music from 2005 to present day. Till next time.
Cabin fever is ravaged all aboard. This once-bound vessel has become a floating psycho ward. We were sailing, sailing, heading who knows where. And now though we're all here, we're not all there.
Hey Tim, when Eminem releases his new album, are you gonna cover it? Oh shit!
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Just wanted to let y'all know a couple things before I let you go. First off, next video, or the next big review video, like 30-minute one, will be a Korra video, not a Slim Shady video. So if you're asking where's Other Songs Part 2, don't expect it until Legend of Korra Part 2 is out. After Legend of Korra Part 2, I'm just going to be kind of going back and forth with a Slim Shady video, then a Korra video, then a Slim Shady video, then a Korra video, and, you know, on and on like that. So that gives you an idea of the schedule, so just, you know, quit asking about, like, where it is. Like, if Korra isn't out, then Other Songs Part 2 won't be out yet. That being said, regarding Other Songs Part 2, I will take some suggestions. I won't be covering every song because, you know, there's way too many fucking songs for me to cover, so I'm going to be covering the ones that I feel are worth mentioning. I already have a good idea of some of the songs I want to cover, but if y'all want to leave a few suggestions, I can't guarantee that they'll make it into the video, but, you know, if you want to leave them in this comment section, it gives a better chance of me seeing it and putting it into the script for Other Songs Part 2. And yeah, other than that, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and stick around. This channel has a lot of different kind of things, so, you know, see what else you like. Hit that bell to be notified when I upload, and for the rest of you, just be sure to follow my Twitter. I'm gonna be giving all of my channel updates, and, you know, when things go, you know, kind of weird or just random thoughts, I'm gonna be doing all of that on my Twitter, so be sure to follow me on there. And yeah, that'll about do it. I'm gonna go work on some videos, and y'all have a good night. This is Tim the Fanboy Philosopher, signing out.